Hey, welcome back. I think I may have mentioned a couple times today that it's a terrific Tuesday on Liquid Lunch, but it always gets even more terrific for me when we get to the Mix It Up segment. We're the only show on television that brings on every single day a Democrat and a Republican. We throw out the topics of the day, they mix it up, we have thoughtful conversation. At the same time, I mix myself up a little drink, sit back and relax. One rule is at the end, we have a thoughtful conversation, we shake hands and we part friends. Joining me today, two great friends of the show, Manny Alicandro. He's a New York City-based attorney, also ran for a New York City public advocate and an expert in the cryptocurrency securities legal space. And Josh Kravitz, Democratic leader here in Manhattan and a candidate for New York City Council. Guys, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for kicking off the drinking segment of the show for me, and I appreciate you guys joining me. So first and foremost, everybody's talking about, is Hillary going to come in? Is Deval Patrick going to come out from the other side? I see Joe Biden running out of gas already, but here's what Joe said about being a Democrat. Okay.
A Democrat from my shoe sole to my ears than about anybody running in this party, okay?
Including her?
Including everybody, okay? One thing I've never had to wonder about is what I believed and where my ideology was and where I come from and why I'm in this and why I'm fighting. It's because the people like I grew up with.
Like with the people I grew up with in Ohio. Isn't that where I grew up? No. Manny, is this guy fading right now?
I think he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, if you think about it, we're less than a year away from the general election, and the Democrats don't have a candidate. He's probably one of the weakest candidates they have, but he's the mainstay. I think the problem is the party's moved so far to the left that what's the alternative to Biden is Elizabeth Warren. I think she's way too liberal for the party. She's a socialist. Even Bernie's a socialist. So people are considering coming in. Clearly, you have Bloomberg thinking about it. Now you mentioned Deval Patrick. If Biden had this locked up, no one else would consider coming in at this point.
Josh, is Deval Patrick the heir apparent to Barack Obama? Is that why he hasn't endorsed Joe yet?
I don't think Deval Patrick really has much of a shot, and I think the misconception is a lot of people on the sidelines think that they can fit into Joe Biden's lane. I think you're correct that Joe Biden is fading. I don't think it's necessarily because the party's moved to the left. I think it's because he's made a couple faux pas. He's not a strong candidate as he used to be. That's just the fact of the matter.
But you have to admit, he is more moderate than really any of the other leading candidates.
I think moderate is really, it's hard to say what moderate really means. I mean, Bernie Sanders could probably win in coal country in Kentucky.
Let's say AOC.
No,
AOC's on one side of the party, so Bernie's clearly aligned himself with AOC.
That's right.
He did that event with AOC. Biden is clearly nowhere near AOC.
Look,
right? She's not going to this event. She's not endorsed.
The way Trump won is he was. Functionally, he was class conscious.
But they're
he
not
understood.
Trump. They're not Trump.
No. But what I'm saying is that it still comes back to class. It still comes back to the fact that there are people who understand that there are those who are making money in this country, who are making hundreds of billions of dollars, and those who are struggling. And most of America is, and most people get it. And so Biden tries to tap into that by talking about his working class roots, by talking about Scranton. No, but that's his way of talking about it. But Bernie talks about it in his own way too. Bernie talks about unions, just like Joe Biden does. And so does Warren. I mean, there's a different way.
But they want to give away free stuff, free college, free everything. I mean, that's predicated on a huge tax base. I mean, that is going to be done for giving student loans, for example. That's going to be done on the backs of taxpayers.
It's going to be done on the backs of billionaires.
How many billionaires are there in this country?
There are 2,000 billionaires probably.
They're going to be able to pay for the whole GDP of this country.
No, but it's going to be on the. What I think what we're missing is the wide disparity in wealth between the average person and the 100 billionaires.
And that's not because of billionaires. What does Jeff Bezos have to do with that, for example?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the other day, Bill Gates was, when asked about Elizabeth Warren, he was like, whoa,
Yes.
hey, well, no,
You can't get someone more philanthropic in the world than Gates and the Gates Foundation. You have to agree.
Well,
when he started Africa,
he agrees that he should be taxed more, and it's not about philanthropy. It's about the fact that our democracy should decide what to do with that money, not him. He's not the one who should be deciding.
Well, doesn't our democracy create an environment where you can get a job and you could accomplish your dreams, you can accomplish your goals?
We have that.
Instead of taxing people and then having someone in the
because we have less
government determining
economic
what they do with
mobility
my
than they
money.
do in Europe. So where is the American dream? People are struggling in America, and then we have people who make more money in a second than people make in a year.
Bernie Sanders should not decide what he should do with my money. I can make a decision what to do with my money. If I want to give money to charity, I'll give it, and I do. I don't want Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren to determine I made too much money and they
It's not about-
social agenda and reconstruct the whole world the way they view it. They're independently rich. Isn't Bernie rich? Elizabeth Warren, they're like super rich. They're both millionaires.
No, they're well. Oh, right. So they're both millionaires. Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now we're talking about not millionaires, but only billionaires?
There is okay. There's a big difference between the billionaire class and the millionaire class. There just is a big difference, and
That's
if you
like de
can't see
Blasio in New York. We had a billionaire's tax, and then all of a sudden, if you made
no, if you can't
500,000,
tell
you were a
the-
millionaire. It's like, oh, that's great.
It's a
You make half a
thousand-fold
million, you're a
difference
millionaire.
between a millionaire and a billionaire. The billionaire class in America is bilking the United States.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is. It
All right,
is. They're making more
change
money in a
this.
second.
I'm
People are
loving this.
struggling. We have
I got
enough
some
money.
pretzels. I just ordered some popcorn because you guys are
Get some
excellent.
salted pretzels.
But we have Supreme Court of the United States now talking about looking at DACA. Josh, should we kick all these people out of the country?
Of course we shouldn't. I don't understand how a compassionate society would do that. And I'm really not sure. I mean, you can make a legal argument and say, like the Trump administration has, that it's an overreach of presidential power to do the DACA, to have created DACA, which
If
is
he
the
does
argument.
DACA, should we impeach him? I mean, we need another backup.
Is that an impeachable offense? Yeah. An executive order, is that an impeachable offense?
Impeachable offenses are high crimes and misdemeanors. I don't think a policy would be a high crime or misdemeanor. You want to talk about the high crimes and misdemeanors? They're coming out daily. I'd love to have that conversation.
See, here's the deal with DACA,
No,
right?
no, but I'd love to have that conversation about impeachment. But
All right,
while
yeah,
we're
let's
talking
go-
about DACA,
let's go to that then. Let's talk about impeachment.
Oh,
Nothing's
sure.
happening here.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
hang on. You know what? Good change. I know we want to try to cover everything.
we
but
can
you're
talk
right.
about DACA. I don't want to put you guys on the back
You
foot
know
with
what?
impeachment.
Stay tuned, and in case you miss it, I have a good feeling that this next segment is going to be covered on both Saturday at 5 p.m. on the best shots of Liquid Lunch, and Sunday at 1 p.m. on the best shots of Liquid Lunch. And in case you weren't tuned in a little earlier, you can now see Liquid Lunch 7 days a week, right here on Newsmax TV. We're going to mix it up some more on impeachment starting tomorrow, right after this, with Josh Kravitz and Manny Alicandro.
Villainize wealthy people. Bill Gates has done a lot for society.
Yeah.
David Rubenstein has done a lot for society. You know?
Back. I told you it was a terrific Tuesday, and it sure is. I'm not even going to tell you what's happening with the markets or Bitcoin. I don't waste any more time because we're on my favorite segment of the show where we mix it up: Democrat, Republican, thoughtful conversation, purple people, all that. I ring the bell when we agree. We haven't done that yet, but we were having a thoughtful conversation about taxing billionaires. And just to wrap that one up, here's what Leon Cooperman had to say about it.
Villainize wealthy people. Bill Gates has done a lot for society.
Yeah.
David Rubenstein has done a lot for society. You know, Jeff Bezos has done a lot for society. They should be complimented, not criticized. And the wealth tax makes no sense.
Well,
just take the 37% tax rate and raise it.
It's a smart guy out there, Leon Cooperman. He's saying
Super smart.
It's ridiculous, the wealth tax.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it ridiculous or no?
Not at all. I mean, first off, I was lucky enough to be watching live on CNBC when he broke into tears about the fact that billionaires are being persecuted. Meanwhile, we were just talking about the lady who was selling churros at Broadway Junction subway stop, and except for $1 each, and she got arrested for selling
hang
churros.
on a minute.
She's a billionaire.
You're saying a lady got arrested for selling churros?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we might have video of that. Do we have the lady with the churros for our esteemed panel here? Lady arrested for selling churros. We might have it right on the money right now.
What's going on? Why are you taking her shit away? Why are you taking her shit away?
Okay, alrighty. Whoever put that video together missed a couple of bleeps there. I'm sure our studio staff down in Florida caught that, bleeped it, but it is getting crazy out there when billionaires are getting taxed doubly and the poor lady can't sell a few churros.
Look, it is, but we have to
you, Don.
maintain law enforcement, right? I'm on the subway today, there's a sign. Please pay your fare. Are they going to start begging
Please
people
pay.
to pay their taxes pretty
All right,
soon?
all
I
right.
mean, this woman's selling food, whatever.
What's
she
a
doesn't
few
have a
churros
license.
amongst
You know,
friends,
I'd
you
just
know?
like to say this, though. Every billionaire is a policy choice. We also talked about this off air. The Walton family. They go and lobby the government to keep minimum wage at $7.25 an hour. And then, single mother who's working 2,000 hours a year at $7.25 an hour is making 15 grand a year. And we're paying for her food stamps, and we're paying for her child care. And we're subsidizing the Walton family
but
while they're
taxing-
billionaires. No, our tax dollars are going to pay for those food stamps because the Waltons are billionaires.
How much could we tax people? It's ridiculous.
You get to,
It's
do you understand what I'm saying? We're
ridiculous.
paying for
Josh,
the Waltons to be
we
billionaires.
cannot tax
in
people
case
this
you
much.
weren't tuned in a little earlier when we were doing continuing coverage of Donald Trump's speech at the New York
Yes.
Economic Club, 8.5 million people have moved out of poverty under Donald Trump,
Yes.
and 7 million people have moved off of food stamps under the Trump administration. So some good things are happening under Trump, but your people, they don't feel that way, and it's impeachment all the time.
most people don't
Should
feel that
he be
way in
impeached for a
America.
phone call where he asked a foreign government to look into corruption?
Oh, so do now we believe that Donald Trump is really interested in corruption in Ukraine?
I do.
Yes,
Wait,
I do.
So give me another example of when he's ever been interested in corruption in the world.
Since he's been elected,
He's been going around
trying to
talking
get to
about
the
corruption
bottom
everywhere?
of how the Obama administration and John Brennan and James Clapper used bogus FISA applications
deep
to
state.
No,
spy
no,
on
I'm
the
just
Trump
talking
campaign.
about corruption around the world. Where's Trump been
Look, at
interested
the
in
end of the
corruption
day,
around
you
the
know-
world?
you know
Answer
what
my
impeachment-
question.
you know
In
what
many
impeachment
countries,
is?
especially in Ukraine,
There's a lot of
who was a
corruption.
participant with Hillary Clinton and others to put together
So you
the
know what?
dossier.
So you know what?
So
This
you
is-
support
thi-
voter fraud? You support...
Can I answer his question? Then
Meddling
I'll
elections?
answer
Sure,
your.
sure.
Okay. I just really want to say, if you read the transcript of what Dr. Fiona Hill said recently, she said the whole idea that Ukraine was interested or was involved in the 2016 election in terms of helping Hillary Clinton is a complete fraud. And the thing is there are right-wing governments, and forget the fact that there are right-wings, there are totalitarian governments, there's the Putin regime, there are people all over the world who are nationalism is rising.
What does that have to do with impeachment?
No, what I'm trying to say is nationalism is rising. They're casting aspersions on Soros. They're doing all of these things, and you're playing that game. You're playing the conspiracy
You got to
theory
admit,
game.
he's Lucifer. That
Listen,
guy.
you know who impeachment is? Impeachment is the new Democratic candidate.
Yeah.
They can't beat Donald Trump in a general election, so what they're doing is they're going to impeach Trump, move forward impeachment to hurt Trump so badly that one of these feeble Democratic candidates who's left could beat Donald Trump. Honestly, be honest.
They're addicted
What is
to
the whole
impeachment.
Point of, the whole point of impeachment at this point before a general election is ridiculous. If you look at the other impeachments in this country, Thankfully, there were few. They did not
Well,
occur
I know the whole
before the general
Republican. I know the
election.
whole Republican way of thinking is that we're not supposed to do anything, including elect Supreme Court judges to
That's
the
not
Supreme
true.
Court, like
I'm not
Merrick
saying
Garland.
that.
That was a
I'm
great
saying
win.
We
what's
shouldn't
the
do
That was a
anything.
great win for
What's
the
the
U.S.
purpose? The purpose is it's in the Constitution. When the president commits a
All
high
right.
crime, that's the purpose.
It's not a high crime.
I got
or
to bring the
misdemeanor.
hammer down on this segment, and I will do so as of now. The court is out of order. It's been out of order most of the day. Manny, Alicandro, Josh Kravitz, thanks for mixing it up wonderfully. You stay right there. Next up, Frank's going to correct all the mistakes I made today in the WTF.